Big Fuzzy's RV Transport Moving Picture Show.
All right, let's go see Justin. We are at this Veterans Benefit Program. I'm late, but they're up here raffling off, giving a bunch of stuff, and just to show, this is a pretty popular event. They got a lot of people showing. So I hear Justin, Cows and Campers, up here on stage right now. So let's go see what the doings is.
Boy, I've been looking for one, I tell you what. Alright, Shipsy, what you got? One of y'all come down here and I wish they would have given away. That's for Kara. Nice. Kara's got some flyers. And that's sweet. Thank you. Thank you, Kara, for coming. We appreciate it. You spread the word a little bit for us, and we sure do appreciate it. All right, we got another bucket at 0344.
All right, Mesa, Arizona. It's 104 degrees, not even to the heat of the day yet. So we're gonna go find something on the inside to do. Welcome to the Airbase Arizona Flying Museum. For some reason, that's what it says on the building. It's listed as the Arizona Memorial Air Force Museum, but whatever. Let's go check this out.
Guns were on the lower down in Colorado, Newport 28.
Oh, so that was the first model where they brought the guns down off the plane?
It was
Off
one of the first ones. Yeah.
the wings?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Right on. Well, I appreciate that information. I've got to do it again because I had it on picture, not video.
Oh, yeah?
I won't make you walk through it again. Well, all right. That'd be great if you could explain it one more time. So we got the propeller here.
Propeller shaft.
And then the cam. This
And the cam.
is how they fired the guns between the blade on the airplane. So as the blade goes by, then click,
Fires.
it fires the gun.
Goes through a whole new cycle. Click. Fires the gun again.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I appreciate that demonstration. Dang, I missed that. I tried to record his explanation of all that, of this plane with the guns, and I pushed the camera on, not the video. He was saying at the start of World War I, the guns were on top of the wing like that. But the problem is every time you tried to fire those things, they would jam. And so the Germans were the first to put the guns down here and use that mechanism we just saw to fire the guns between the rotation of the rotor. And that this is literally the only plane in here that still, in theory, flies, though they don't fly it. And we're starting, the way this is laid out, is this is World War I, and then it goes into World War II, and then around all the way up to Vietnam over there. So I'm gonna walk around this building. Hell, let's go in order.
Been there and back and got the papers on her.
Oh, really?
It's that like had gunship. Some were medevacs, some were gunships, some were slicks without the tubes. That's what we used to ride on.
Yeah.
It did everything. Transport people to and from, supplies.
Wow.
Clean socks. If you're, it's out in the middle of patties.
Yeah.
And you've been out there for a couple of days, you need some clean socks.
Yeah, I imagine.
So the ship would come out, drop off a duffel bag full of clean socks to you guys, and the question was, how do you keep socks dry in rice paddies? You wrap them in plastic bags.
Oh.
Now, when you put them on your feet, you're naturally going to get wet.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
clean ones in plastic bags go in your rucksack.
Yeah, I
So
got
you
you.
get back to your base, you got clean socks.
Oh, wow.
But that drop off food, ammunition, in the middle of a battle.
Yeah.
The whole outfit be run low on ammunition, and we call for resupply. Now, I
Yeah.
need bullets.
Yeah.
Here they come. They kick out a couple of crates for you.
Wow.
Yep.
Amazing.
And now imagine, they're in the middle of a battle. They're getting shot at too. That's why
Yeah.
the holes are in these birds. And they come in to resupply. Nobody got near my helicopter. I'm going home.
Yeah.
That's my way home.
Yeah.
And that's what we did for each other.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. I bet.
We have a docent here. He's not here today. When I first started 8 months ago, after a couple weeks, I'm sitting at the desk, and he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him. He says to me, "I know you."
Yeah.
"Yeah, you should. What's your call sign?" "Steep nozzle 4 or 5. "What's yours?" "Leader 1-2. Mekong Delta 69. "Yep, that's me." "That's me too. You picked me up."
Oh, wow.
He used to fly up north and down south.
Wow.
But they did everything. If you need a resupply, they were there. You need a medevac in the middle of a battle, they were there. If you need a medevac and was the medevac ship, they were there.
Amazing.
Yeah. And we have to go out and get these guys when they crash and they get shot down. And we had a run operation. I'm a little recon platoon, 22 guys.
Yeah.
We knew where they were. And we went out after dusk to get them. We had to hike about 6 miles into the paddies. We got there about 11:30, midnight, somewhere there. And actually, they're set up at all 4 sides of the bird, all 4 of these guys. They crashed it, but they're okay. They got shot down. And Sarge says to me, "Give him a call." I identified myself as who I'm calling to. We're coming in about 5 miles out. "Don't shoot me." Realize about 2 miles out, the same message.
Yeah.
1 mile out, the same message. About 500 feet out, we had a starlight scope. We could see them in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Of course, during the night, you can't see this in front of you. And Sarge says, "Tell him, okay, we're 500 feet out, we're coming in. Don't shoot me, I got 22 guys." "Okay." Right, all 4 corners, from here to where that wall is, all the way around the same way.
Yeah.
We walk up to the bird, turned around, and Sarge says, "Call him, I'm here." They come in, and naturally made certain they were okay. "Okay, guys, we have the chopper. There's a dry spot over there. Go sleep there. About 5 o'clock, we're going to call a Chinook. They're going to heavy load you back to town Chinook." We woke them about 4:30. Here comes this Chinook. They landed. Big helicopter.
Yeah.
All the guys got in there, and the crewmaster, roadmaster of the Chinook, sling loads this with a big old cargo sling, and gets back in the Chinook. There they go. And about 5, we wait till dawn, and moved on out, and 10 miles down the road, Fed's waiting with the truck.
Wow.
We got in the truck and boogie down back.
Yeah.
Now everything, the road, everything after 7 p.m. and before 7 a.m. is yours. You shoot. It's 5 o'clock, it's 5:30 in the morning. We're on the road.
Oh, no.
And LT says to Fred, "Put it down, put the hammer down." So we're hauling.
Yeah.
And Firebase Harrison's coming up, and LT said, "Let's go." And LT calls ahead to open the gates. He said, "Fredo, the gates open, don't stop." He downshifts from 5th and into 3rd. She comes around the corner, slides around the corner, pulls through the fence. They lock it up. We pull up in front of the CO's tent, get off the truck, and the captain says, "Welcome home."